Presentation of Science Trek on Idaho Public Television is made possible through the generous support of the Laura Moore Cunningham Foundation, committed to fulfilling the Moore family legacy of building the great state of Idaho.
Blood does more than just carry oxygen to your cells. The body's circulatory system helps keep you warm, carries away waste, and helps you stay healthy. We're here to answer your questions about blood. Stay tuned. Science Trek is next. Hi, I'm Joan Cartan-Hansen, and welcome to Science Trek, and welcome to the American Red Cross. The American Red Cross collects and distributes more than 40% of our country's blood supply. So we're here to answer your questions about blood. But before we do, let's learn a little bit more.
I want to drink your blood.
Wait a minute. My blood? Why would he want to drink my blood?
Cut! What's wrong?
I don't understand. Why would he drink blood? I mean, after all, what is blood?
What is blood? Well, let's find out. Blood is the fluid that carries oxygen to all the cells in your body and takes away the cell's waste products. Blood flows through your body's circulatory system. Arteries carry blood away from the heart and toward the lungs and other organs in your body. Inside organs and tissues, arteries branch off into smaller capillaries. Blood moves through these microscopic capillaries, dropping off oxygen and nutrients, and picking up carbon dioxide and other waste products. Blood then moves into the veins. Veins carry blood from the body back to the heart. Blood picks up oxygen and gets rid of carbon dioxide in your lungs as you breathe in and out. And blood gets rid of other waste products as it flows through your liver and kidneys. But your heart is the key. Your heart pumps blood through the circulatory system and keeps the whole process going. Your blood is made up of blood cells and plasma. Plasma contains water, protein, salts, and other substances, and it's what makes your blood a liquid. About half of your blood consists of plasma. The rest of your blood is made up of 3 types of cells. About 47% of your blood consists of red blood cells. Red blood cells are shaped like flattened basketballs. They carry a chemical called hemoglobin, which gives blood its red color. Red blood cells also contain iron. That mineral helps red blood cells absorb oxygen. The other type of cells in your blood are white blood cells and platelets. They only make up about 1% of your blood. White blood cells fight infections. They make antibodies and other chemicals that fight the germs that can get into your body and make you sick. Platelets are cells that help mend wounds. When you cut yourself, platelets start building up along the edges of the gash. They form a web across the wound which hardens and stops the blood loss. Your blood cells are created in the marrow or center of your bones. And blood cells are pretty small. A drop of blood the size of a pinhead contains 5 million red blood cells, 15,000 white blood cells, and 250,000 platelets.
That's amazing. Is that all blood does?
Just watch. There's more.
Your blood does more than just move oxygen around your body. It carries chemicals called hormones that control growth, energy use, and water levels in your body. Your blood helps keep you and your insides at a fairly constant temperature by carrying heat away to the skin in hot weather and by keeping you warm internally when it's cold. And your blood keeps you healthy. It helps fight infections and other diseases, and when you get a cut, your blood helps you to heal. Doctors can test your blood to look for signs of disease, and they also check your blood pressure. Your blood pressure is the force your blood is pushing on the walls of your blood vessels. High blood pressure can cause strokes or heart attacks, and if your blood pressure is too low, you can faint. When doctors test your blood, they often determine its type. Different people have slightly different types of blood called blood groups. Doctors have assigned a letter to each group depending upon the type of antigens found on the surface of the red blood cells. There's A, B, AB, and O. The groups are further divided into Rh positive and Rh negative. About 72% of Americans are either A positive or O positive. Only 1% of Americans are AB negative, That makes it the most rare blood type. Knowing your blood type is important because if you get hurt and need a blood transfusion, that is, blood from someone else to make up what you've lost, then you need to be given blood of the same type. If you get a different blood type, you can get very sick. Many adults donate blood, that is, give some of their own blood. You have to be at least 16 or 17 years old to donate. Organizations like the Red Cross collect blood. Trained staff examine the blood to make sure it's safe and then store it until someone needs it. And in the world, someone needs a blood transfusion every 2 seconds. So giving blood saves lives.
So your blood is really important for your health.
So take care of your body, and your blood will take care of you. I think I'm ready for another take.
I want you to donate your blood.
Okay, let's go organize a blood drive. I bet your teachers and parents would be willing to help.
Great idea. Let's go.
And joining me now to answer your questions about blood are Dr. Roger Turcotte, an internist at St. Luke's Internal Medicine, and Dr. Alicia Lachiondo, a pediatrician at Treasure Valley Pediatrics. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to your questions.
My name is Leah. I go to Owyhee Harbor, and my question is, why is blood so important in your body?
Well, Leah, blood has many functions. Blood is actually an organ in your body, just like your other organs, like your heart or your liver. And its function is to circulate nutrients around all of your body, including oxygen, which you need, and to get rid of waste products like carbon dioxide, and nutrients that you need like sugar, and important proteins that your body needs in all of its various places.
Hi, my name is Taylor. I go to Owyhee Harbor Elementary, and my question is, how is blood made?
Taylor, that's a great question. Blood is actually made in your bones. Some blood is made in your spine and other in your big leg bones called your femur and your long arm bones as well. Some people also make blood in their liver, and parts of your blood are made in an organ called the thymus.
Hi, my name is Colton, and I go to school in Cunningham, Idaho, in Cunningham Elementary School in Cunningham, Idaho. My question is, what substances make up blood?
Well, Colton, blood is surprisingly complicated, and it's made of several different substances. It's made of a watery substance called plasma that's a little bit more than half of your blood, and that's filled with sugar and many other essential parts of your immune system and proteins. And then the other component of your blood is the red blood cells. That's approximately the other half, and those are what carry oxygen to your tissues as well as carbon dioxide. And then there's a very other smaller fraction of your blood which is made up of white blood cells, which is a different kind of cell in your body that fights infections and performs many other functions as well.
And actually there's a fourth component called platelets, which are actually just fragments of little cells that serve the function that if you get a cut or are bleeding anywhere, it helps your body stop bleeding.
Laura would like to know, what happens when blood gets infected? What color does it turn?
Laurel, when blood gets infected, similar to your other organs, you can get really sick. So the blood doesn't change color at all, it still stays red, but you actually have a lot more white blood cells that go into your blood and help you fight off the infection. However, your blood still stays red because there's more red blood cells than white blood cells in your body even then.
Alexander would like to know, my sister says we have blue blood, but when I get cut, my blood is red. Who's right, sis or me?
So I think it's best to say that our blood is red. Because when you're cut and you see blood, it's come out of your body and you can see it directly. And when you're seeing blood through your skin, it does look differently because of the veins or the arteries that the blood is in and because of your skin. But when you're looking directly at blood, it should always be red, whether it's bright red when it's carrying oxygen or a darker red, sometimes purplish color when it's carrying less oxygen.
My name is Max. I go to Owyhee Harbor, and my question is, how many blood cells are in your body?
There are millions and millions of blood cells in your body, probably even billions. Even a small drop of blood contains many millions of cells.
Adriana asks, why do people take blood samples?
Adriana, people take blood samples for a lot of reasons. Your blood, because it goes to all the different organs and all the parts of your body, and both carries nutrients and takes away waste, it can tell us a lot of information. It can tell us if you have an infection somewhere, if any of your organs are sick or how they're functioning. It can tell us if you have enough salt and water in your body. And we use that information to decide if you need medicine or if we need to change anything with our advice.
Hi, my name is Imprashan. I go to Hawaii Harbor, and my question is, how many blood diseases are there?
There are many different kinds of blood diseases, and they're of various types. There are infections that can affect the blood, and a very famous one is malaria, that's caused by a parasite that gets into the blood and can cause fevers and other illnesses. There are other blood infections. And then there are other diseases of the blood that have to do with problems with the way that blood cells are created, either not enough of those cells being created, which can cause anemias or low blood counts, or problems with too many of those cells being created. And unfortunately, in those cases, the result is blood cancers.
My name is Ethan. I go to Hawaii Harbor, and my question is, when you touch someone else's blood, does it always give you AIDS?
No, you will not always get AIDS. And in fact, you're very unlikely to get AIDS. The other person would have to have a virus called HIV, and it would have to get into your bloodstream, so you would have to have an open cut as well. That's why when we're in the hospital and we don't know what's in people's blood, we always wear gloves to make sure that we stay safe and we can keep other people staying safe as well. But if you were to touch blood, most likely, no, you would not get HIV.
The only way to transmit the virus that causes AIDS, which is HIV, is when one person's blood comes in contact with another person's blood or fluids from the other person. So by touching blood with your skin, there's no way to get that virus. But as was mentioned, as a precaution in the hospital, we always do use gloves when we're interacting with any kind of blood or body fluids.
Humans have 4 basic blood types, but animals have their own blood systems. Cats have 3 blood groups. Dogs have 8, but cows have very complex blood groups. Scientists think cows have over 800 types of blood.
My name is Hayden. I go to Hawaii Harbor, and my question is, how do you figure out the blood type of animals?
Well, the way that we figure out blood types in any animal, including us, is with a blood sample, and in the lab we can then determine what blood type that person or that animal has. And I believe that animals have different types of blood types than humans do.
My name is Steph. I go to Hawaii Harbor, and my question is, what is the difference between the types of blood?
So there are 4 main types of blood that we consider to be important, and those are A, B, AB, and O. And it's a bit complicated how we know that and make those distinctions, but basically on the surface of your red blood cells there are some proteins. We call those antigens, and there's one that's A, and then there's one that's B, and then in people who have type AB blood, both of those proteins are present on the red blood cell. And in people who have type O blood, neither of those proteins are present on the surface of those cells.
Hi, my name is Cody, and I go to Kamiai Elementary in Kamiai, Idaho. My question is, how does your blood pressure get too low or too high?
Well, there are a lot of factors that affect your blood pressure and many different organs that affect your blood pressure as well. When we're measuring blood pressure, we want to know essentially how much blood is pumping through your arteries and veins and how much pressure it is inside those veins, which are like little tubes. We don't want that pressure to get too high or too low because it can affect how well that blood can get to your different organs. The most common way that you can have low blood pressure is by just not drinking enough water. and you can get dehydrated. Another more common way is to lose blood if you get into an accident or something like that. High blood pressure is a little more complicated. It's affected by salts that you eat, foods that you've eaten over the course of your life, how much you exercise, how healthy your kidneys are, and a few other organs like that.
My name is Abby. I go to Owyhee Harbor, and my question is, do you always get your parents' type blood?
No, not exactly. It's possible to get a slightly different type of blood from your parents, but your parents do determine what your blood type will be. But you won't always have exactly the same type of blood as your parents.
Hi, my name is Jessica. I go to Owyhee Harbor, and my question is, in a little bit of blood there is an IgG and an IgA. My grandpa passed down IgA deficiency to my mom, so can I get it? And if so, when should I get tested for it?
Jessica, that's a really great question, but I think it's probably a question that you and your mom should probably talk about with your pediatrician. A little bit about IgA and IgG. There's actually 5 types of Igs, or what we call antibodies in your body: IgA, IgG, IgM, IgE, and IgD. And these are things made by our white blood cells to help us fight infection. Some people have too much of one, like with IgE, and that causes us to have allergies, like when your eyes itch or water when you're around certain plants, or some people when they're around dogs or cats. Other people have too little of some of these antibodies, like your grandfather and your mom having an IgA deficiency, or not as much IgA as other people. However, for a lot of people, the other antibodies in our system, IgG or IgM, can help pick up the slack and help us still fight infection pretty well.
And those antibodies are very important for fighting infection, and we can help your body make antibodies with vaccines, which you get when you go to the doctor, especially when you're a child. And those vaccines help your body make special antibodies against certain diseases. That way, if you ever get sick with those, or you're ever exposed to the viruses or the bacteria that can cause those diseases, your body is already ready to fight the infection, and then you don't get sick.
Isaiah asks, what happens to blood when we die?
Well, when we die, our blood decomposes just like our other tissues, and blood has to be continuously replenished. Your body is continuously making more blood, and red blood cells on their own are destroyed by your body in various places, usually in your spleen, which is a special blood organ. And as they're destroyed there, they have to be remade by your bone marrow inside your bones. And when you die, then that production of red blood cells stops, and so your blood simply decomposes.
Your heart plays a key role in your circulatory system. So let's learn a little bit more about this amazing organ. Tucked safely within your chest is your heart. It's actually a muscle about the size of your fist, and with every squeeze, your heart fills with blood and then empties out. That pounding you feel is called the heartbeat. Put your hand on the side of your neck or right beneath your wrist, and you can feel it beating. It beats every minute, every day and night, no matter what you're doing. The heart sends blood throughout your entire body. It's no small task pumping blood to and from every vein and blood vessel. Did you know if your blood vessels were stretched from end to end, they would circle the globe nearly 3 times? In a grown-up, a heart beats about 70 times a minute. In an 8-year-old, it's about 90 beats a minute. And in a newborn baby, the heart beats around 140 beats per minute. When you kick up a storm at Taekwondo or run hard with your friends at the playground, your heart pumps faster and pumps more blood to feed oxygen and nutrients to your muscles. When you're sitting still or reading, it doesn't pump as hard. So how does it know when you're changing gears? Well, your heart is kind of like a small, efficient power plant. It's constantly aware of what the rest of your body is doing and what energy you need to kick into action. Your heart does that by generating an electrical impulse. It sends signals all over your body. Everything from your fingers to your toes gets the zap of energy needed to get going. Keeping your heart healthy is important to staying healthy. Sometimes parts of the heart can get clogged. That's the sign of a very serious illness. It's called cardiovascular disease, and it's the #1 cause of death in this country. So how do you keep that from happening? Well, you can start by eating healthy foods. Doctors encourage children to start good eating habits when they're young and keep good habits as they get older. Another good way to keep your heart beating strong is to get plenty of exercise. Running around with friends, jumping rope, anything that keeps you moving. Those are the best ways to make sure your heart muscles keep pumping and you stay heart healthy your whole life.
My name is Isabella. I go to Owyhee Harbor, and my question is, how does the heart pump blood?
Well, the heart pumps blood by squeezing, and every time your heart squeezes, it squeezes blood out from the heart into a great big blood vessel called the aorta, which then branches into many smaller blood vessels in your circulation. And each time your heart beats, it not only pumps blood out of your heart, but then new blood comes from your lungs into your heart to be ready to pump out that next cycle. And you can actually feel your heartbeat, and you've probably noticed this yourself, just if you are exercising and you can feel your heart racing. But it's also possible to feel your pulse in your wrist or in your neck, and that is a way that you can feel how fast your heart is beating.
Hi, my name is Aiden. I go to Owyhee Harbor, and my question is, why don't we see our white blood cells when we bleed?
Aiden, one of the reasons we don't see the white blood cells is there's just not nearly as many of them as there are red blood cells. In fact, for every 40 or 50 red cells, there's 1 white blood cell. The second reason that you don't see white blood cells is that they're not actually white. Red blood cells have a red color to them, but white blood cells are really more clear. They have a bunch of different things in them. We just call them white because when we look at them under slides on a microscope, we just see the white background through the cells, and thus they look white.
Brooke would like to know, can you live with water instead of blood?
Well, Rook, our blood is made up of a lot of water, and so you need a lot of water to make blood. However, there are a lot of other things in it that are necessary to live. Water can't carry things like oxygen. It would have a hard time picking up waste and dropping off sugar, and it would have a really hard time fighting infection like our white blood cells do.
My name is Evan, and I go to Owyhee Harbor School, and my question is, what type of blood do I have?
Well, Evan, there's no way for us to know what type of blood you have unless we look at it. It doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl, old or young. There's no way of telling what type of blood you have until we look at the blood itself, because essentially anyone could have any type of blood until we look.
And Evan, I would add too that it doesn't necessarily matter very much what type of blood that you have, and most people don't need to know their blood type. The reason to know your blood type is if you were to have a transfusion or to require getting blood from another person. But most of the time that's not necessary, and people with one kind of blood aren't necessarily any healthier than people with another kind.
One thing to know is that in an emergency, we can't always test your blood or the person who needs the blood type fast enough to run the test before we give them blood. In that instance, we give them O negative blood, so blood type O, and negative for something called Rh factor. And that blood type is considered the universal donor because it has the least amount of antibodies and you can give it safely to just about anyone without causing a reaction.
Hello, my name is Tristan. I go to Owyhee Harbor, and this is my question. How much blood is in the human body?
Tristan, how much blood is in your body depends on how big you are. Adults have somewhere between 9 and 12 pints of blood, which is almost 1.5 gallons. Kids who are about half the size of an adult have a little more than half that amount, closer to 4 to 5 to 6 pints of blood, which is like half a gallon to 1 gallon of blood.
My name is Michael. I go to Owyhee Harbor School, and my question is, what makes blood?
Michael, blood is actually made in our bones. Usually it's made in our long bones and in our spine. Those make the red blood cells and the white blood cells, as well as the cells that become platelets. The water comes from what we drink, and a lot of the nutrients and proteins also come from what we eat.
It seems unusual, but almost all of your blood is made in your bones, deep in the center of your bones, in something that's called bone marrow. And when you're a child, almost all of the bones in your body have bone marrow and produce blood. But as you get to be an adult, fewer of your bones produce bone marrow. And it gets to be just that the bones in the center of your body, like your spine and your sternum, which is the bone in your chest, and in your pelvis, and even in your skull, make blood. But as a child, many other bones in your body can make blood as well.
Caden asks, what percentage of your body is blood?
What percentage of your body is blood depends on if you're a kid or an adult. In adults, blood makes up about 7 to 8% of your body. In kids, it makes up a little bit more, percentage-wise, of your body, probably close to 10% of your body.
Dr. Roger, before we run out of time, let me ask you a question. Why did you decide to pick a job in medicine?
Well, medicine is great because you get to learn all about science, and the body is very complicated and extremely interesting. And there are many fields where you get to learn science and you get to learn about the body, but only in medicine do you get to use all that information to be able to help people feel well and get well if they're sick.
And Dr. Alicia, if someone is interested in a job in medicine, what should he or she study in school?
He or she should study a lot of different things. I think we all think that you need to study science and math, which is very important. I think Dr. Roger and I use science and math probably every minute of every day when we're making decisions. But we also get to talk with other people and learn about their lives. And so it's important to study all kinds of different things to get to know about a lot of different people and what a lot of different people are going through. And that really helps us in our jobs in medicine.
I'm sorry, but we've run out of time. I'd like to thank you both for answering students' questions today.
Of course, it was our pleasure.
It's wonderful to be here. Thank you again.
Our thanks also to the folks here at the American Red Cross for hosting us. Now, do you have a question for one of our future shows? You can email it or send it as a video question. Record it on your cell phone, tablet, or webcam. Or if you're an educator, we'll even lend you a camera. And if you send in a question, you and your class can win prizes. Our last prize winner was Sam at Galileo STEM Academy in Eagle. So to find out about today's topic, go to the Blood section of the Science Trek website for facts, links, lesson plans, and more. Or watch Science Trek the web show. So send in your questions, and each week, check out my blog for the latest science news for kids. You'll find it all at idahoptv.org/Science Trek. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on Science Trek.
Presentation of Science Trek on Idaho Public Television is made possible through the generous support of the Laura Moore Cunningham Foundation, committed to fulfilling the Moore family legacy of building the great state of Idaho.
If you want to learn more about this topic or watch our videos, check out the Science Trek website at idahoptv.org/Science Trek.